your history. I love your story. I'm looking forward to getting into it. So thanks for taking a minute out.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me and sharing with your audience.
Yeah, you bet, man. Before we get into your career and your life, I want to know first and foremost, 4 years ago, the pandemic took hold of us. We were wrapping our heads around it. How did you get through that COVID period and how did it change you?
Man, it was amazing for me because I had just stepped into full-time entrepreneurship 4 months prior to like the whole COVID shutdown.
Yeah.
So when things shut down, those first I read 8 books, like just deep diving to fully learning everything I needed to for business. And it just allowed me to just accelerate my growth. I loved it. Didn't
So
love people getting sick, but
yeah, no, I get it. And I hear that from a lot of people, man. There's a lot of silver linings that went into it. So I know you had a career in corporate and got out and you're an entrepreneur, but if I was to put you in front of a bunch of third graders right now in 2024 and a kid said, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" How do you answer that child?
yeah, I'll just say I teach people how to be really good at their jobs.
Okay. What did you want to be when you were in the third grade?
It's funny, I was talking to my mentor about that the other day. I wanted to be unemployed. Yeah. I remember being in the second grade telling my dad, I was like, I'm going to start my own company. I'm never going to work for somebody else.
There you go. There you go. And you're an entrepreneur. So yeah, it all worked out. Let me ask you this. What Who's been an inspiration for you? I mean, being an entrepreneur takes a lot of gumption, but consistently, who's been that role model for you?
It's always been different people. Starting out, but I originally thought my career would be in art, the comic book world. So I was actually a published comic book artist while I was still in high school.
Okay.
And I was really inspired by Walt Disney and Stan Lee and just these big like comic book and animation world people. But then now there's so many people, like there's a guy named Myron Golden who really pulls me, Damon Diller, who's my personal business coach, pulls me. So yeah. And then like Elon Musk also. I was a huge fan of Elon Musk.
Yeah. Yeah. So, were you born and raised in the Carolinas?
Born and raised.
So you've always had a creative side to you. Has that kind of been how your career trajectory into being an entrepreneur?
Yep. Always been the creative and it's helped me become the visionary CEO I am today.
So let me ask you this. If you could meet one person alive on the planet right now that you find inspirational, that may give you a little bit of extra gumption as an entrepreneur, who would that be?
Mm, that's a good question. It would probably be, gosh, I would probably say, and it's so weird to say because of the, it's very polarizing. Probably somebody like Andrew Tate,
Okay.
just because he's very astute, he's very well studied, and he's really strong on his convictions. So
Yeah.
I feel like it would pull my level of like you need to study and show yourself approved a little bit more. And just being around his convictions may make me stand stronger on my convictions.
So you would mention in your bio being kind of chewed up by corporate America and spit out. What did you learn during that time period that has helped you be your own visionary, your own entrepreneur?
Yeah, it was it was such a blessing. I took a corporate sales job. I started working there just because I told them like, hey, I plan on proposing to my girlfriend, but I need to make more money. And if you guys hire me, I promise I'll be the hardest working employee you got. So I came in cold calling, outproduced what the entire department was doing combined. I single-handedly outproduced that.
Wow.
And my goal was to go from January 2019 to December 2019, cold calling, building a $1 million book of business, selling cheap products like $5 products, $100 products, cheap doorknobs and stuff like that
Yeah.
through the phone.
Yeah.
And I did $1 million in sales in 3 months.
Wow.
So after that, I was like, all right, well, and then my reward for hitting my goal was they laid me off.
Oh no.
So, 3 weeks after getting married. So,
Wow.
but I
Wow.
realized I just cold called and did $1 million in sales in 3 months with no product knowledge, no industry experience. If I can do that for them, I could at least make six figures working for myself.
Sure. Sure. So far, what's been one of your favorite client success stories you've been involved with?
Oh, so a very recent one, a lady named Elizabeth, and I saw her case study on network40.com. When you go there, she joined my high ticket 6 week coaching program. I worked with her for 6 weeks, and then she did everything I taught her. And 2 weeks later, had her first $20,000 day, and that just makes me so happy.
Yeah, for sure. So what is the motivation for you every day to wake up, to be an entrepreneur, to grow as a professional? What is that motivation for you?
Yeah, it's impact. I feel like God put on my heart that I'm gonna have a positive impact in the lives of over 200 million people. So it's just the Jeremy, you're called to serve people. You're called to serve people. You're called to serve people, and it drives me. Seeing people win, it gives me so much joy, and just knowing that's the example I'm going to set for my family. So our last name is going to be synonymous with impacting people's lives.
Yeah. So the one thing you get to do is you get to help these people, your clients, get to a better place and to become noteworthy business people. Who has been a story or an example of a business person that you admire that really rose up, that's really done it the right way? Who is that for you?
Man, there's always so many of them. I would say a big one for me. There's just so many of them. So many. If I, had to I mean, I really love like Myron Golden. I mean, I just love watching him and just what he had to overcome. The viewers aren't familiar with him. I'm not sure if you are or not either.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just being born with polio, segregated hospital, like everything going wrong, but just seeing how he was able to grow through that and the entrepreneur he's become today and the impact he has. And he teaches very similar to me through biblical principles. So
yeah.
I love it.
So of all of these things that you've done in your life so far up to this point, what are you the proudest of?
Um Getting married 5 years into my marriage and just staying true to my vows.
Right on. So you get to give good advice to all of your clients. I'm curious, what's the best advice you've ever gotten?
I remember the summer going into my senior year of high school, my original mentor is like a big brother to me named Wally. Shout out Wally McNeil. He he was we're at this comic book convention and like I'm doing the big shows with the big names already, like ever since I was 14 years old. But I wasn't making the big money. And I
Yeah.
had all the excuses in the world. And I'm like, it's only because I'm a kid. It's because I'm black. It's because of this and that. And I'm just complaining. And Wally just tapped me on the shoulder. And he's like, hey, little bro, closed mouths don't get fed. You need to speak up and get noticed. Totally changed my life.
Wow. Okay. So let me ask you this. If you could go back to that young 14-year-old version of you, you have a dream. He comes into you in your dream tonight. You can give that young version of you a piece of advice based on the life you've led, the wisdom you've gained. What advice would you give that young version of you?
Use your voice as soon as possible. Had no clue how much impact I'd be able to have as soon as I start speaking up.
Yeah. So everyone out there has a perception of you, family, friends, clients, but you run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
I think I am becoming the man that I was called to be. So I try to stay true to my word and just continue to grow myself, become the best version of myself because I know that I was called to be this person that had this impact. And I personally believe I'll give everybody a disservice if I don't spend a lot of time working on myself. So
Yeah.
like my wife was like this God, personal development, then her. Because if I don't work on the personal development, I can never be the husband that she deserves. I'll never be the father that my kids deserve. I'll never be the boss that my employees deserve. So just every day is 6 to 8 hours every single day for the past 6 or 7 years just in personal development.
Just getting after it. So if anyone wants to hire you, learn more about you, reach out, any of the good business, where do they go?
And then go neverworkto40.com or neverworkto40.com/trial now, and they can get 2-week trial into working with me.
I love it. Jeremy, what a great story, man. Thank you. Keep doing the good work. I appreciate your time today. Best of luck.
Thank you, Joe. Thanks for sharing me.
Yes, sir. Thank you.